stirring the coffee with chopsticks that are on fire, using the vortex method, the only true way to burn your hand at the molecular level. Well, at least it got the vortex method. All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Ethiopian. This is from the St. Thomas Roasters. The second bag that I had yesterday. St. Thomas Roasters in Linglestown, Pennsylvania. Lingles. Where the heck is Linglestown? I guess that's out in the Harrisburg area, I believe. Let me get that swallowing sound in there. Yes. A swallowing sound is much better than a sucking sound. Happy Friday to everybody. If you ever said the phrase Happy Friday, will you punch yourself in the face for me? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. They tell you you can't sleep alone in a strange place. Then they tell you you can't sleep with somebody else. But sooner or later, you sleep in your own space. Either way, it's okay. You wake up with yourself. Billy Joel, 1978. At over 50 years of age, if you get your heart broken, it's on you. Baristas do serve a purpose. Sometimes that purpose is to show you what to not do with your life. I've always been a believer that sleep isn't just for rest. I think we are wired to wake up with solutions on the tips of our tongues. Innovators and scholars of old always had a pen and notepad on their nightstands. Sleep isn't just for rest. It restores the body, it restores the mind, and ideas can come to you like they do with me all the time. I wake up with ideas. A reformed minister falls down the stairs and picks himself up, dusts himself off, and says, "Whew, thank God that's over with." Some of you will get that. I'm looking forward to being married again someday, having fun with my wife, enjoying romantic dinners, going to movies and shows, having a great love life, then going back to my house down the street. A priest starts tapping the microphone and is saying, "Is this thing on?" He makes a lot of noise and then finally says, "Something is wrong with this mic." The congregation replies, "And also with you." First, let us learn from it that the more extraordinary the eagerness of wicked men to despise the doctrine of the Christ, the more zealous should godly ministers be to defend it, and the more strenuous should be their efforts to preserve it entirely. John Calvin, 1509 to 1564. I took a poll. I said, married women only, please. This is 100% anonymous. Did you ever cheat in any way on your husband? 44% said yes. 56% said no. There's 12 hours left to that poll. I don't know if the numbers will change. People only take cheap shots at those that are right. If you say, I don't do drama, you're doing drama. If you don't know, it's a hell no. Or I like to say, if it's not yes, if it's not a yes, it's a hell no. I wonder if she likes me. If you don't know, it's a hell no. Saw a meme on Facebook, another evangelical Christian woman meme. Maybe they did not leave your life. Perhaps God moved them. One of those from the brain surgeon rocket scientist Toby Mac, the Pied Piper of post-wall evangelical Christian women who are getting it right this time. More clueless evangelical women memes, I like to call them. It's a shame that God gets blamed for most of these women's issues. I'm sure it had nothing to do with the woman. Groupies follow, then they manipulate until you hit a nerve, and then the real person comes out 10 out of 10 times. You just have to wait longer for some. Don't doubt me on that. I'm thinking of going to the New York Pipe Show and doing a documentary in the spirit of my video, People of the Pen. The title is yet to be determined. So if you are thinking of going to the New York Pipe Show, let me know. Maybe we'll do a meetup there. What a great place. What a great concept for meetups. The Baltimore Pen Show, the New York Pipe Show. And let's read a letter. Do you remember me being a little rough on Levi from Hawaii? Now, there's a lot of Levi's in Hawaii, and I like to keep people as anonymous as possible. Good evening, George. I know you get inundated with emails on a regular basis. When I heard you read my email this morning, I was honestly stunned. I was humbled that you took the time to share your insights on it on the Daybreak Show, and I can't thank you enough. I tore you a new asshole, and you can't thank me enough. The rod of discipline is to be embraced, and I think you're on the right track, that you did not get offended, and that you weren't a typical know-it-all little snowflake. There is hope for you and a very bright future. It's like, thank you, sir, may I have another? You have made accurate and profound observations. I must admit, you truly have me pegged. You are correct. I am indeed a lazy nihilist. Although I don't want to be one, I struggle against it. It's like a black hole that absorbs meaning due to my deeply rooted and habitually bad mindset. I would like to be a Christian, and I have tried to walk down that road through evangelical and Catholic paths, but was disillusioned from those experiences. I hear you, man. Your Christian walk resonates with me because it's honest and grounded in the frame of reality, not a Disneyland theology like in so many Protestant denominations. You are correct. My feet are firmly planted on the ground. My heart is with the Lord, no one else. I'm still living in this earth. I'm still in this bag of bones. I'm still bombarded by temptations like everybody, and I give in less than I used to. I don't want to say I don't give in, but I give in a lot less than I used to. I remember going to my pastor when I was probably about 25, 26 years old. And at that time, man, I was just hormoned up, like a man should be, but wasn't ready for marriage, if that makes sense. I didn't have what it took to be a faithful married man, so I basically spared my life and many other people's lives. But what I ended up doing was being a playa, which I have stories and scars to prove it. And I'll never forget saying to my pastor at the time, I said, when does it end? When does it end? Because I would be rolling out of some chick's bedroom early on a Sunday morning. She'd say, where are you going? I'm like, I got to go now. I got something to do. And I'd go home, take a shower, and go to church when I was a young man. And I did that so often that I became numb to it. And I'll never forget saying to the pastor, I said, when does this end? And I will never forget his response. He said, when you die. In regards to a few profound observations you made, I was one signature away from enlisting in the military, but stopped short out of the fear of being stuck in my plan B or C, since my plan A fell through. Looking back, I see that all those alternate plans would have been better than what my reality is now. 2, we live on a family estate with my grandparents and other relatives. When my dad was my age, he moved back to the estate after living on his own. He lives in the shadow and under the thumb of his father, my grandpa, and I feel like my dad has never been able to become his own man because of this. That's very true. We should be raising our children to fly the coop. I say this, if you are an adult and you can still live with your parents and they're not aging or ailing, like if you have to move back in with your parents to literally physically take care of them because they're sick or ill, that's one thing. But if you are an adult and living with your parents, and when I say an adult, if you are over 18 and living with your parents and you can live with them, there's something wrong with you and there's something wrong with them. They didn't raise you to fly. The closer I got to 18, the more I wanted out of the house. When I complained about dinner as a teenager, my father would say, well, when you turn 18, you can do whatever you want to do. But as long as you're under my roof, you are going to eat what your mother makes, or you're not going to eat. This is not a restaurant. That's how my dad used to be. Everything was, when you turn 18. Now parents aren't raising their kids. What we do is we send them to college to prolong their adolescence for 4 years. Then they want to get a master's degree. That's another 2 years of prolonged adolescence. Then they screw around being a barista. Then they might grow up and be an adult at 30. I feel like my dad has never been able to become his own man because of this. I now live under both their shadows and their thumbs. The apples haven't fallen far from the tree. It's scary how real the possibility of becoming our parents is if we aren't careful. Yes, sir. Smart observation. And that's not hammering dad or your grandfather. I understand that, though. 3, I work full-time in the service industry as a beach boy, and your advice on saying my pleasure instead of no worries or not a problem has made a huge difference in my guest interactions. Yes, I've been in the service industry a long time. I've done everything from be a media personality to 22 years as a therapist and hospital administrator to cutting hair. Some people say you took a step down. I don't feel that. I feel I use everything that I've learned in hair cutting and of course now in speaking and coaching as well. It also changed my mindset regarding difficult aspects of the job. It actually becomes pleasurable. Damn, Levi. You're doing pretty darn good. The things that are coming out of your mouth seem to be more orderly now than the chaos that you originally shared with me in your first letter. There are no justifications I can make. It seems like being hard on oneself is a natural reaction when one is missing the mark. I won't stifle that voice, but let it guide me upwards to the standard. I haven't had any strong male role models in my life, and I think this is why you have such a strong impression on me. You fulfill a developmental need that was never met. I always say that people are silently begging to be led in general in the world. If you are a leader, it's easy to be a leader. Be in the top % of people with their personal habits. Grooming. The words that come out of your mouth. you will be a leader. And I do believe that children are silently begging for parents to be parents and set boundaries. Not create their life, provide opportunities for the children. It's like I said in a broadcast last night, my mom would say, go out and play. Mom, what's for dinner? Go out and play. Just stop asking questions. And I'd go out. Get out of the house. Now, parents, karate on Monday. I take my kids to yoga on Tuesday, painting class on Wednesday, and soccer on Friday, and Saturday mornings to, and they do this with their kids rather than presenting options. Present all instruments, and your children will gravitate to a woodwind, to a piano, to a stringed instrument. Expose them to everything. They will gravitate to something. You don't force a child to take lessons in XYZ or whatever. Is your child not into sports? Okay. More intellectual activities. Not team sports? How about individual sports? Like diving, swimming, where it's not so much teamwork, but the competition is yourself, your last lap. Those are the kind of things that children learn from. If you are a young parent, that is a good thing to do. Expose them to everything. I'm striving to focus on ensuring that 2019 is the year that I get unstuck. I think you are on your way, sir. Your idea of becoming a contrarian is helping me a ton because I'm doing the opposite of what my bad habits tell me to do, which is yielding great results. I'm looking to get a second job in the evenings to further combat my bad self-sabotaging habits and to develop a great work ethic, which I realize is the only thing that will get me unstuck. Thank you for a swift kick in the ass on the molecular level. Levi from Hawaii. I can't add to that. I wish you well, Levi. Please stay in touch. And for you, finish your coffee, and I'll see you Monday morning on the Daybreak Show.